Hey, good morning. I'm Candace Scalese. We are here at the CBS 21 News studio. We are in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, talking about ice. We are experiencing a very dangerous ice storm this morning. Our crew has been up since before 3 o'clock this morning. It's now just after 8 o'clock, and we have seen a lot happen in the past 5 hours. I want to bring in Steve Knight. He's our meteorologist here. And Steve, this is when was the last time we had something like this? Because there are cars that are literally encased in ice right now.
Yeah, this is an unusual situation for us here in Central PA. The last time we had a real major ice storm, you got to go all the way back to Valentine's Day of 2014. So it's been a while since we've seen something like this, where you walk outside and everything is just covered with a glaze of ice. That's a really good example of what a lot of people are waking up to here this morning. Cars that, it's not just one of those things where you can scrape away the frost. You got to chisel away some of that ice and some of that sleet is out there. And so what you see on those windows is exactly what the road surfaces or any untreated surface or sidewalk is like as well. So dangerous situation out there this morning.
Yeah. And is this going to melt anytime soon? Because I know later on people would like to leave their homes, possibly. A lot of people did like grocery delivery so that they have food today. One person on Facebook was like, I added some champagne and some vodka too for my morning because we're just staying at home. We're not leaving. So can we leave later on? What do you think with melting?
Yeah, you can't get through an ice storm without libations, right, Candace?
Yeah, right.
Right. So, yeah, it's going to be better by later on this afternoon. I would say if people can put off travel here, the safest bet would be lunchtime or after 11 a.m. That's when temperatures are not only going to start to get up above freezing, but it also will give time. Fewer cars that are on the roads, the easier it is for PennDOT to get after these roadway surfaces and get them to where they're, up to snuff and folks can travel on them, or even a lot of your back and secondary roads or maybe in your local borough where your roadways are treated by your local municipality. So putting off that travel as long as you can. But I would say anytime after 11, I think we're going to be in the clear for travel and the temperatures will get up above freezing. And hey, by this afternoon, we're actually going to get into the low 40s. So we will get quite a bit of melting done this afternoon.
That's really good news. I know that we have some live reporters standing by, but I first want to check in with Kennedy Miller. She's in our traffic center. And Kennedy, you have been tracking a lot of accidents this morning, even though PennDOT treated the roads with some salt yesterday, the day before. It sounds like it's really messy. What's going on?
Yeah, it has been really messy, Candace. Lots of accidents that we're still tracking out on the roadways this morning. We have an accident here in Dauphin County. It's impacting that right lane. It's on 283 southbound between exits 2 and 1. So we're making calls to learn more about that crash, but do expect delays in that Dauphin County area. We also have another crash here in Lebanon County. This was on US 322 on Clinton Road. We do know that a pickup truck overturned. No injuries were reported with that crash, but again, expect delays as you're traveling through Lebanon County. That is US 322 this morning. And this is a crash that we've actually been following all morning here in Dauphin County. An accident on West Chocolate Avenue, University Drive. We do know no injuries were reported with that, but we're still working to learn when these roadways will reopen. So we're reaching out to officials. We'll keep you updated with that. But take a look at this. Harrisburg to Lancaster, Lancaster to Lebanon, expect major delays. We also know that PennDOT is reducing speeds right now to about 45 miles per hour on several area highways, including 81, 83, 283. So just something to keep in mind as you head out, start your commute. But again, if you don't have to be out on the roadways this morning, it's probably best that you just stay home. I'll send things back over to you.
Wow. Okay. Thanks so much, Kennedy. Yeah, Steve and I were talking about how we had to scrape the ice off of our windshields this morning. I just honestly sat in my car and waited for it to melt. I was not about to get out there and try to do that. But I do want to check in with Yasmine Cowan. She's outside right now. And Yasmine, earlier in our broadcast when we were live on TV, we were hearing all that sleet come down and hitting your umbrella. So it really seems like it changed in the past few hours.
I mean, it changed so much. I mean, this morning was a whirlwind. I mean, there was so much sleet coming down. It was literally smacking me in my face. I mean, a lot was going on, but I want to talk about just even heading to work. When I got into my car, I couldn't even see through my windshield. So I had to stop my car, get my snow scraper, and scrape off that ice. And that ice was sticking onto my window. It was really hard just to scrape it off. But even driving, I was even a little scared because my car skid a little bit. So, the ground right now, you can see that there's a pretty thick film of sleet on the ground, and you can even see my footprints right now. But even just walking, just coming out here, you can see that it's really thick and you can slip. So, if you plan on working out outside or jogging, I would not do that because you will slip, you will fall. But even talking about some of the streets here, PennDOT is icing some of these roads, but they're not going to ice every single one because there's so many. So, you really have to be vigilant when you are driving because the last thing you want is to get into an accident.
Yeah, PennDOT ice or salting those roads, but still, like we said, not every single one. I know that Steve, I know you have dogs. I know a lot of people have dogs getting out there, taking them for the walk. So it sounds like we need to be extra careful with that. Let's check in with Andrew Klein because that's something that he mentioned, just wiping off their paws and making sure that they're okay. What is it like on the sidewalks and stuff where you are in Harrisburg?
Yeah, it's really slippery, really, really icy. Kind of the same thing that Yasmine just showed where, walking around is just tough. Anywhere you kind of go where I'm at right now. So as you said, if you do walk your dog, it's important to make sure to wipe off their paws, because that could cause them some irritation depending on what kind of salt gets laid down. I know a lot of the roads have been salted, but there are roads as well that have not. So, make sure you give yourself extra time if you're going somewhere in the morning. Make sure you give yourself time to not only start your car early, but to get that ice off of it, to make sure your car has kind of thawed out a little bit. And also, it's going to be tough to drive, and you're not going to be able to drive at any sort of high speed. So, give yourself a couple of extra minutes to really get to where you need to go, I think is a big important thing. But also, wear the proper footwear when you go outside because that's going to be very, very important. The roads very slippery, the sidewalks very slippery. It's just hard to walk around, hard to get around in a lot of spots today. When you walk on it, it's almost like you're not walking on water, you're walking on ice rather than the actual ground. So that in and of itself is just scary to kind of walk around and think about too much. So be very, very careful. Make sure you wear proper shoes and take care of your pets as well. Those are super important to make sure that if the wrong kind of salt is down, that your dogs and your cats don't start licking their paws afterwards. That could cause them a lot of irritation.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Andrew. Thank you so much. It really is. I mean, I asked him earlier, Steve, like it looks like it's snow from a distance, but he was saying it's just ice pellets, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the day when it was really coming down, I could literally catch them in my hands. It wasn't, just melting on impact. I was literally able to catch the physical pellets, and now that's kind of what's all scattered around the ground and frozen in many areas.
Yeah. So, Steve, this is not just Central PA that's experiencing this. I mean, it sounds like across the nation, the Northeast is under warnings, under weather watches. We have a CBS 21 weather warn day. So, and then we have more coming our way. Like it's not just today, it sounds like.
No, it's not just today. We've got a real active pattern. And to your point, Candace, there were, over 20 million people that were under some form of a winter weather advisory or warning with this storm as it made its way from west to east. So we're watching our next weather maker that's going to get here on Saturday. And this is another storm that's going to affect a lot of the Northeast. But for us here locally, we're looking at an initial burst of snow Saturday afternoon between about 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And then as temperatures aloft actually start to rise, we're once again going to be contending with some sleet and some freezing rain Saturday night. That'll continue beyond midnight on Saturday night. I do think it will wrap up by very early on Sunday morning. And that's key for us here in Pennsylvania because we know there are a lot of people that have big plans Sunday night, the Super Bowl, to at least go to and from, whether it's your friend's house, a Super Bowl party, or heading out to any of the many establishments that are having big Super Bowl parties to cheer on the Eagles. Travel by Sunday night should be fine, but Saturday night does not look good. We've got chances for more snow next week too, like Tuesday into Wednesday. So we know that Punxsutawney Phil did call for 6 more weeks of winter. Well, so far, he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah. I want to bring Yasmine back in real quick because Yasmine, you have been out in every weather situation for our first snow that we had, right, Steve? Remember that? We
Yes.
slipped up north a little bit and it was just coming down, hitting you in the face, like you said. What do you think about today? Like, how does this compare to your first snow that you experienced in Pennsylvania with CBS 21? What's different about today that you've noticed?
I think about today where there's sleet and you can like feel it on your skin, and with the wind just smacking you in the face, you can just feel it hurts. When I did my first weather hit, I was in Schuylkill County, so there was snow. So the snow wasn't too bad. Snow dissipates, it disappears. But with sleet, you can actively see it. You can feel it. You can hear it. You can see it. I mean, it's very real. So I think with this situation, I mean, you could just feel the weather. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot different this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you've stayed bundled up too with all of this weather. So you guys be safe out there. Yasmine and Andrew have been live since before 5 o'clock this morning for us, braving those conditions. And Yasmine just keeps talking about being hit in the face with the weather. So hopefully you guys bundle up. Anything, Steve, that you want people to know? We have to jump back on TV real quick, but anything you want people to know just for the rest of today as we deal with this crazy ice storm that's impacting travel, work, schools, everyone in PA.
Yeah, well, speaking of travel, if we still have Kennedy, if we could check back
Yeah.
in with Kennedy. And is there anything new that you need us to know about what's happening out there on the roads, Kennedy?
Yeah, Steve, not much that's new out on your roadways other than those accidents that I were telling you about a little earlier ago. Just that accident there, Dauphin County, and again here in Lebanon County. Those are the major accidents that you should be on the lookout for. And again, PennDOT reducing those speed limits to about 45 miles per hour. So that's just something good to keep in mind as you head out if you are planning on traveling out on the roads today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a lot of people do have to go to work. A lot of people are either emergency workers or they're doctors or nurses. People have to get to their job. And so I think, like everyone said this morning, just being extra careful on those roadways, which you know to do, but just a reminder as you head out the door this morning.
Well, Candace, that's, we always talk about that. And I always say, in situations like this, stay home if you can. And I always, in the back of my mind, I'm on TV and I'm saying that. And I hear somebody that's watching me and they're going, I can't stay home, Steve, right? I'm a first responder, or my boss expects me in, or I'm a nurse, or I'm a doctor, or better yet, I've had, a surgery that's been scheduled for 6 months.
Yeah.
If I don't get it done today, I'm going to have to wait another 6 months. So there are people that, unfortunately just can't stay indoors. And that's why we, try to give everybody exactly what's going on, not only for the folks that can stay inside and kind of, watch us from the comfort of their homes, but the folks that do have to venture out and scrape all of that stuff off of their windshield and do their best to get around. So we feel for you. If it makes you feel any better, we're with you. We all
We're here too.
Yeah. I'd also love to be home with a hot cup of coffee and watching this from the comfort of my own home, but I'm a meteorologist. It's not the case.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I just grabbed my first cup since
There you go.
Since 2:30, right? We're like eating and drinking in between all these broadcasts, trying to keep everyone safe. I think you have such a good point, though, because the thing is, when we're asking people and when PennDOT and state officials are saying, please stay home, it's because of those people who have to be on the roadways. Yeah. It's just safer if you're not out, because if you're sliding, hopefully you're sliding to the wall and not another vehicle. I mean, look at this. This was earlier this morning in Harrisburg. You could just see, and this was my car when I started going. That's when it finally started melting. So it's just a reminder to be extra careful. And something I thought of too, Steve, was just having that emergency kit in the car, which I realized driving in today, I don't have blankets or water or snacks. So I need to practice what I preach. And I actually did start dripping my pipes this morning. I was like, I'm going to turn those on just in case.
Yeah. The other thing too, make sure you're, whether you're at home or in your car, make sure your phone's fully charged.
Yeah.
In the event that you would lose power, that's your way to, communicate with the world. Or if you're in your car, your battery dies, you know what I mean? If your phones, that's how you're able to let people know that, you've got an issue, you've got something where you may need somebody to come and bail you out, whether you're at home or whether you're in your car. So yeah, we always say before these storms, and we've got another one coming on Saturday, one thing you got to think of, make sure you get that phone fully charged before the storm moves in.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Have that portable charger too, just in case. All right, Steve and I are going to get back on TV. You can always stream us at cbs21.com. And of course, we are always posting on YouTube. So if you're watching, thanks for joining us. And let us know any questions that you have. You can always follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are everywhere. So make sure you drop your comments. Let us know. We're happy to answer your questions. We're just telling you what we know as information's coming in. But anything that you want to know, just let us drop a line and we'll keep you updated. So you can follow Steve Knight and me, Candace Scalese, and our whole team, cbs21.com. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day and be safe out there, guys. We'll see you next time.